space in my home, but I thought let's get going with our Sunday chat. So today is going to be about labeling, how you keep with your product brand, and of course we'll talk a little bit about the conference, but only some questions that I've been asked. So today this one is going to be thanks to Laurie and Angie that have been asking me all about branding and how we actually get to brand our product, which is super duper important. So, you know, you want to try and keep to a strong brand, and you want to also have people know exactly what you're doing. And the main thing actually is you want people to see your brand and recognize that it's you. So that is the most important thing. And that might mean keeping to colors, a certain design you have, your logo, because you don't want to keep swapping, although you will kind of swap a bit because you learn as you go along. So anyone that hasn't seen this now, you can watch this as we're going along, of course. But anyone that wants to join in, please feel free to join in, and you will sort of see a notification come up, and then I will actually talk about, you know, like I said, exactly what I'm going to talk about, and then we will start going with this live. So anyway, welcome anybody that is new on here, and I want to say a massive welcome to a few new people that have been joining on from the UK, the US, Canada, Trinidad, so many different places. I can't name you all, and of course down under Australia. I have lots of amazing people from Australia, Melbourne, Sydney, South Australia, you know, Perth. There's just so many, you know, I can't mention you all. Western Australia, as well as a few guys over there too. So anyway, let's get into it. As you all know, I will be looking down because I do have all of my notes that I have written down below, and then I will start to go through everything that we're talking about. So let's get started. Like I said, we'll start first of all with the labels. So when you're talking about creating your labels, there's a few things that you want to think about in particular. So it will be, you know, how the design of your label is going to look, what you need to add onto your labels, and of course that all important question of the legals. So I'm not a lawyer, a little disclaimer, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a brand expert. I'll just tell you as I know it, but I have studied interior design, and that was my main job before I actually did this a number of years ago. So hopefully that kind of helps everybody. And we'll also talk about the colors, the design, and how you can do it yourself, or whether you need to employ a designer to come in and do that as well. Oh, hi there, love from Glasgow. Hello, welcome. So as I said, I'm in a different place in my home today because in my studio I am getting a new massive big dehumidifier, air conditioner and heater all in one split system installed today. So I can't be in there, but you will see me in there on my next video. But for now, I am kind of in my bedroom. So as you can see, I'm kind of at the side of the room, and you'll be able to see it's not a very nice day in Australia today. It's rainy, cold and miserable, so no markets today. Oh, hi, love from the USA. Welcome. Welcome. I do see you on lots of my things, and it's lovely that you do comment and say hi. Hi, Christine. How are you, sweet? From Queensland, you lucky thing. Of course, you get the gorgeous weather up in sunny Queensland. But in Melbourne, it's been cold, rainy, miserable, and we've actually had rain for 19 hours straight. So that's how horrible it is in Melbourne. But as I said, we're going to talk mostly about branding today because you know, during the week, a lot of people put comments and ask questions, and those questions is how I actually decide what I talk about on the Sunday. So a number of people have asked me about branding, if I can help them along the way. And I know when you first start, you know, it all comes down to money. You can't just afford to just keep, you know, paying people to do things because money's tight when you first started trying to get this off the ground. So the first thing I'm going to talk about, like I said, is how we get going with these labels. So let's get started. So the first question here is how do you design your label? So you've got a few options here. So number one, you know, look, if budget is really tight, you're not very good on Canva or something like that, you can literally just start off by making something in Windows, or, you know, there's, I forget what it's called. There's like a free version of Windows as well. And so you can actually use that one too. And all you're going to do is, obviously there's certain things that you must put into your label. Number one, keep your brand consistent. This is so important. So for instance, if Canva's amazing, yeah, Christine, that's what I use. For anyone that's listening, I use Canva, and you don't have to pay. You can have the free version of Canva, or you can have the paid version. Last year I had the paid version, and my paid version I think is about to run out, but it hasn't run out yet because you sort of get a few weeks leeway. But I probably will pay for it again, because when you have the paid version, you get certain images you can use and certain fonts and things you can use, but you don't need that. You can use the free version, of course. And what you can also do is in the templates, you can type in, for instance, label, and it will come up with some templates to give you to start off with the label. So you don't have to think of it all yourself. There are other ones. And also Google candle labels to give you a bit of an idea as well. Yeah, the small investment is worth it, Christine, you're right. I think I paid maybe $220 Australian, I think is what it worked out to be for a year. Because of course it's in US, so it kind of changes it a little bit around. But I think that's what I paid. Don't quote me on it, but I think that's what I paid. And as I said earlier, a little disclaimer, I am not a brand expert. I'm not a lawyer, so please do check with your country, on what the legals are that you need to put. But I will just tell you what I put on mine, which I know, and I have got mine checked, that is legally right. Hi Trish, good morning sweetheart, how are you? I hope you're having an amazing day. I know you're in Melbourne, so you've also got the horrible rain, the wind and all the rubbish that we've got in Melbourne, because Melbourne just doesn't know that summer's around the corner. It's getting confused. One day I'm in a dress, next day I'm in this thick kind of jumpery thing, But now, so like I said, we'll start with the label. So you can start with designing it on Canva. You can also start with designing it on Word or anything else. But what I do with mine, so when you get your jar, for instance, this is a coffee here, it's not a jar, but we're going to pretend it's a jar just for this. So say you've got your jar, you're going to measure from here to here, however big you want it to go across, and then the width. So don't make it go to the top to the bottom. You want to keep 1 centimeter at least from either side to create your labels. Oh, hi from Tampa, Florida. Hi, sweet. It's 7 p.m. there. Yes, I know it is nighttime for you, but it's morning for us as well. Yeah, Trish, I know it's terrible, the weather, isn't it, love? I know, awful. But yeah, so actually, like I'm talking about your labels, so do 1 centimeter or 2 from either end. Some people have a vertical one as well. You can have a wide one. Depends, however you want it to be. But my new labels are sort of, I think about 10 centimeters across. And the thing that you can do as well, don't try and just say, oh, I've seen someone else's just a plain square one, I'm going to do that. Think of something different. I've seen people with their labels in the shape of a cloud, in the shape of a square, a rectangle, a heart, a circle. It doesn't have to be anything. So this is the thing. Labels need to stand out, because this is how you're going to sell your product. And you'll be amazed how many people say, oh, I don't like that label. I don't want a hot pink label. I'm not going to buy a candle. So, the label, as funny as that sounds, really does depict whether people are going to pick it up, because, eye appeal is buy appeal. That is the truth. So that's really important. So first of all, you want to keep with the same font. Every single time, keep with the same font. So for instance, say your candle is licorice, and then you go to, Scotland. Hi, love. How are you? So 8 a.m. You're a good girl for getting up nice and early. Yeah, so welcome. What was I going to say? So this is the thing. I just lose. And the sun's coming in, so I'm hot. You can probably see my face is getting red, because I'm actually feeling hot now that the sun's going in this window. But anyway, we'll just live with it. We'll just deal with this. What was I talking about? See, honestly, not even here. Hi, Carla. How are you, love? Welcome. So anyway, like I said, keep with the same font, even if you're changing the candle, whether it's strawberry, licorice, whatever, keep with the same font. Obviously, you're just going to be changing, the title of the candle. And then what I always do, so I've got my little list here, like I said, so you've got your candle here. At the top, you might want to write made in Scotland, made in the UK, wherever your country is. Then you would be writing, for instance, I write, that say we're going to pretend it's salted caramel in the middle. Then on the top, you might want to write Woodwick soy candles. So you've got to write what it is. You have to write it's a candle. So, you don't have to write candle, because that's a bit boring. But you might want to write, cotton wick candle, handmade candle, hand poured, whichever you like. Oh, your dreams to go to Scotland, Christine? Yeah, my husband's grandpa was from Scotland, so I can never remember exactly where. He's no longer here, but Yeah, he was from there and he used to talk about Glasgow. That's where he's from. Yeah, so I just remember, I'm pretty sure it was Glasgow. But yeah, so anyway, so like I said, you know, you need to put all those things in. And of course, the most important thing on this is you must have the volume. So do write, you know, whether it's grams, however you are going to do it, but you should do it in a weight volume as well. That's what I put on the bottom of mine. And then, of course, when you turn your candle upside down on the bottom, you should have a warning. So my label has your square here, and then to the side of that, there's a little running total, and down the side, it will actually say, you know, directions and things like that. But that's a very small font, but it's just so that I've actually covered myself legally down the side. So if someone says, I didn't see the warning, well, it's on the front and the bottom. That's really important, but it doesn't look kind of in your face as well. So that's important too. And always put your website, because if somebody gives that as a gift, you want them to go, I love that, I want to order again. And then you've got another person to come back to your site. And you know, your manufacturing details is your website. They can find you and so on. And you know, this is what I was going to talk about. Product availability of space of your product, which basically means the space of your product, what might mean the lid. Don't leave that empty with nothing on it. You want to be able to use that space, because it's the same as, you know, somebody buying or making, you know, a big sign to go in front of their factory. They're not just going to put that much on the sign. They want to use the whole sign to make it really bold. So that's what you're going to do. On the lid, you can put your logo on it, or candle, or whatever you want to put on it. Oh, hi there, Suzanne. How are you, sweetheart? It's okay to be late, love. Don't worry. You know I always keep it going. And we've only been on here 10 or so minutes. And we're just talking about labeling and how I label mine as well. But as I said, do please remember that your countries may be different. So all countries differ. In Australia, you're meant to write what the product is. So even on soap, you're meant to write, you know, handmade soap, for instance. Oh, no worries, love. No worries. So so write down that, really important. And you know, for me, when I sell my candles, a big selling point for me is, number one, 100% soy. People buy them for that reason. And number two, they want to buy Australian made, because we're in Australia, and because of COVID, everyone has really been talking about now buying Australian made products. And it's just become a very big push, because we're a smaller country and we really need to support local makers, because otherwise local makers will just give up, because it's really hard in Australia to, you know, to get your product out there and to be successful. And you know, look, if you're a new candle maker, I'm going to be honest, it's not going to be successful straight away. It will take time. Most candle makers will say it takes a couple years for people to know you. So it's not that your product's not good, it's just that you need people to find you, and that is really, really hard. So don't give up. You just need to stick with it, even if you have another job on the side. And I always say this, have your job on the side and then keep going with your business, because that's the only way you're going to be successful. You can't depend on this money at the start, but you really can't. It's only now, after a couple years for me, that you know, I'm starting to be a lot more successful, and I'm on social media every day. Instagram, and you know, most of you might not have known actually, because I've just started this week, but I have started doing reels. I never wanted to do reels on Instagram, but I've done a few, and that kind of has actually got me a few more followers. So you know, maybe that's the way it is. But and never pay for a follower. Please don't pay for one. It's absolutely rip off, and you're only going to get robots anyway. You're not going to get people that are going to buy your product. So you want to get authentic people that are actually joining your social media. That is the one number one thing that I can honestly tell you with social media and gaining followers. It's not about the follower. It's about somebody. You want them, you know, just like we're on here, you want people to engage with you. You want them to want to hear what you've got to say. There's no good telling people that actually don't really care and they're not even responding. You could have 5,000 people on Instagram. It doesn't mean they're all talking and listening. Hi, Leanne. How are you, love? Welcome from the UK. I know you're from the UK, so welcome. So, yeah, and we've just been talking about labels and what we need to pop on the label. Now, one other thing as well, we're talking about consistency of label and design. So, for instance, if you're, oh, you're good. Thank you, Leanne. I'm really happy that you're good because, you know, look, we've just got to love life, don't we, at the moment? Things are just so messy for everyone. But with design, it's really important that you stick with your color. So for me, my colors are pink, gray, and black. So I always stick to that, and I've definitely gone more for that as well. Oh, thanks, Leah. Yes, thanks, Christine. Yeah. I really do appreciate people sticking with me and seeing what I'm doing as well. And like you said, and your product, you've got to stick with your colors. So really, before you start to brand yourself, if this is new, if you have a really hard think what your colors want to be, because you don't want people to get to know that you're green and then all of a sudden everything goes bad. You really want to be able to go, okay, my color is green, I'm sticking with green. You don't want to change halfway because then people won't remember who you are. So for me, a lot of people look for pink, and I've talked about this in another video. At a market, what actually happened to me was I started using a hot pink bag, and people were saying, where is everyone getting these pink bags from? And the great thing with these pink bags was people started to recognize that was me, and then they were like, I'm going to find that lady whoever sells the bags. And I often had people say, can I buy one? And I'm like, no, but you can buy a product and then you get the bag. So that's kind of, you know, a bit of it's really all that is. It's just a marketing trick. You know, you see some of these big companies with bright orange mandarin colored bags, people recognize them and want the bag. So you've got to make yourself stand out. But if my color was blue, of course, I wouldn't be giving a pink bag. I'd be giving a blue bag. So that's what I'm saying. All, you know, and interior design, that's what I have studied. That is all about color. There's so many things involved in it as well, but color is a huge thing with that. And, you know, and I have done many courses in color as well. I've also done them with some big builders where we've talked about colors around the world and how colors actually draw people in. And there's a big psyche about colors and how your brand can be represented differently with different colors. So do look into that. That's all a part of research when you're first starting as well. Thank you. Yeah, no, I have, you know, look, starting with your brand takes a long time, and you will notice over time from my very first video to the video I do now will be really different, because as you go along, even on YouTube, you realize what people want, what they talk about. And I started doing a Sunday chat. Actually, I'm going to be honest, it was a fill-in thing. Yeah, Leanne, that's right. Yeah. And it's a fill-in thing. And I thought, look, I'll just start to do a fill-in thing. I thought, who's going to care what I think about products? But, you know, the Sunday chat is one of the most popular videos that I have. Often I do them, and hundreds of people log in over the first couple of days to see, you know, what I'm talking about, because I think these are the things that people want to know. You know, you'll see a lot of YouTube videos, how to do things and whatever, but these are the questions. So if someone asks me a question, I'll try and make a video out of it if it's worthy of making a video, of course, because there are other things that, you know, we need to talk about. So yeah, so that's what I mean. At the start, you change things, but just try and stick to your color and your same font. Try not to change it too much. But if you sort of go 6 months and you go, I really hate that, quickly change it before people find you. That's really important, to change it within the first 6 months. Oh, I've helped, Leanne. Thank you. I really hope so, because, you know, that's something that, you know, I really do try and do, because I know when I first started, you've seen lots of people making things, but number one, I noticed there wasn't a lot of recipes, and there really was not a lot of help as well. Oh, in California. Sorry, darling, I said the wrong thing. You know, see, I'm hopeless. I mean, there's so many people from different countries, but I do remember a lot of your names that come up, and I do sort of see them come up. So now let's talk about the labeling. Like I said, we'll go through the list that you need to think about. So number one, how to design your labels. So you can choose Canva. You can also go on, now I'm going to tell you a trick as well, everybody. If you're using a Cricut machine, Cricut, you actually, oh, well, this is the thing, Lorraine. You know, look, Lorraine's just saying here, you know, she wouldn't know anyone else to talk to. Lorraine, the one thing I'm going to tell you, when I first started this, I actually had no followers, none, not even family. I just started this and I thought, look, if 50 people want to hear me, great, and now it's, I don't know, 2,500 or something people subscribe to the channel, and the subscribing doesn't matter. It's who wants to watch it and who is interested in what I have to say, and whether that's helpful as well. So yeah, so you never know who's going to want to listen, and basically having good content. I mean, look, I could ramble on every week, but unless the content was something you wanted to hear, you wouldn't bother logging back on every Sunday. So yeah, so never think that nobody wants to listen, because they do. And later on I'll get into the conference that we're starting. Well, not starting, it's already been on. Tickets have been sold for the Australian Soapery and Candle Conference. If you're in another country, you can buy a ticket online and you'll be zoomed in the whole 7 hours. And also you can come along as well, but we'll talk about that a bit later, and that's why I set that up, to actually help people. Oh, thank you, Lorraine. That's so lovely. I do try and help because, like I said, I do know how hard it is. I really do. Oh, you want to start YouTube too? Yeah, look, give it a go. I mean, look, you know what? It's free. It's totally free. And the one thing that I have to tell you is, you know what? You don't need a fancy camera. You can do this with an iPhone. I started doing it, I think it was an iPhone 7 or iPhone 8, my first couple videos. And yes, they're not as clear as they are now, but who cares? It doesn't matter. Just give it a go, and you just never know what's going to happen, but you need to be persistent. Oh, where do I get my lamp? This one here behind me is from a company called Flower World. Hi, Mark. How you going, sweet? Yeah, my lamp is from a company called Flower World, and I am, like I said, I am an interior designer, so that's why you'll kind of see it's a bit designy and, kind of matchy, although the shade came beige and it was meant to be grey, so I'm going to have to get a new shade for that, because you can see everything else is grey and white and, kind of that Gatsby sort of look, I guess, is what it is, because I love the 40s. But yeah, anyway, so I got that from a company called Flower World, and then they actually, that was wholesale, and they sell to all different gift stores. And I think maybe they sell at about $300 or something like that. Yeah, it is very hard to get a customer base, and we'll talk about that a little bit too, because I've had a couple questions about customer base and how you actually get that customer base. So I'm just going to talk about that a little bit. So first, I'll go through a few of the lists. So we're talking about labels first. So how to design your labels. Like I said, you can go onto Canva and you can go onto online labels, and there's quite a few different ones. Every country has something different. Myself, I use Vistaprint and I use Canva. And Canva, I don't just design on there. You also can buy your labels and things like that on there as well. But Vistaprint I use more, and the reason I use Vistaprint, although the quality isn't as good as Canva, unless you pay the higher quality, which I pay for the higher quality one on Vistaprint, they have more options. So that's why I use them, and I've used them for many years, and they've been really good. Even in my other business that I had before this business, I used them, and I was really, really happy with Vistaprint. So yeah, so that's something. Online labels, yeah, I do know online labels are very big in America, and I think also in Canada as well. But here, look, to be honest, I didn't like their platform, their software. I really didn't like it. I found it really hard to deal with, so that's why. But Lorraine, yeah, so I own a Cricut, and before, when I first started, I did everything on the Cricut. I swear by it, honestly, I do. It is really, really good. Yeah, Suzanne, yeah, you're right. Vistaprint's very good. They're fast too. But the thing with Cricut is what actually happens when you use the Cricut, it will give you what's called, within their system, it's called like a system fonts, which don't give you a lot of fancy ones. And then you have to pay for the extra fonts. But a trick to get around that is you design it first on Canva using their free fonts, and then you can upload that, create it, and save it as an image, and then that image, transport that image as an image straight into Cricut, and because you can upload it. So once you upload it, then you've got that, you've got the fancy, the font without having to pay for it on their system. And that's what I do. That's how I get around it, because there is no way I'm paying $7 for one font, because I know that sounds cheap, but it ends up being really expensive. Yeah, look, Cricut can end up being really hard, and honestly, I've spent a lot of time on Cricut. But once you understand it, it's really easy. For me, it's easy. I use it every single day. Because I do like the format that what they have on it is, say for instance, you create a label that's 10 centimeters, you can put it into that system and you can make sure it's exactly 10 and it cuts it to 10. That's the one thing that's the main thing I like with Cricut is the measurement tool on it. But once again, like I said, it takes a lot of time. And as you all know, I research everything, whether it's for this or whether it's for my business. You do need to research it and watch so many YouTube videos on it. There's some really good ones on there as well. And there's a lady, I think today, I think it's called Cricut Tools, that I was watching this morning. I'm pretty sure that's what she's called, and she's really good. Yeah, that's right, Leanne. Anything you do, you've got to study. And I research every single day, even though I'm in here and, you know, my business is, you know, starting to be quite successful. I will say to you that I do study all the time. Oh, hi, Sean. How you going, sweetheart? Welcome. And I probably say your name wrong. I'm sorry if I say it wrong. You know, I'm in Australia. We pronounce things differently as well. So I apologize if I'm saying it wrong. But yeah, so number one, Sean, does that sound right? Hopefully I'm right. Hi, Carol. How you going, sweetheart? Welcome. Oh, great. I've got it right, Sean, because I always think, oh, am I wrong or right? But I'm glad I'm right. So now, like I said, you know, so first you want to be able to design your labels as well. And so you can choose all different platforms. You don't have to pay for it. So like I said, consistency of color is important. Consistency of font and logo. So keep all those similar, and then you can use that whether it's on a candle or body butter, you know, a soap package. Just try and keep it very, very similar, which is what I do. And and then this is what I was going to say as well, which we talked a little bit about what you're going to add onto your label. So like I said, the volume is very important. That is law. In any country, you need to write what's in it. You know, all your ingredients list, directions, warnings, there's so many things. So do pop onto, you know, do go onto your normal, you know, there's a lot of websites through your government. So I won't say them all because everyone's in a different country and I know it's different. But in Australia, the health department gives you so many different helpful tips, and the ATO and so on can sort of send you to different directions. And in Australia, if you go into the ATO and you look up all these or write in the search bar, it will often have links to other sites that help you out a bit. So do go and pop onto that as well. And like I said, the color and design is super duper important. And the one thing is, don't make your website too bold, because what it does is it kind of looks like that's the thing you're trying to get across. The biggest font should be what you're trying to get across. So to me, if it's salted caramel, that's what I would have as the biggest, because that's what's going to attract people. If they're looking for caramel, that's the thing they need big. They don't need your logo big. So, but your logo needs to be on it in bold, but just underneath that in a much smaller font and a very clear font. Don't do a fancy font for your business, because you want that your phone number or ingredients to be a basic font so they can easily read it. That's one thing that I do see a lot of people do wrong. And the reason I say it's not wrong because it looks bad, it looks nice, but oh, that's fine, Carly. Yeah, you can watch me back later, darling, no problem at all. Oh yeah, I don't mind about my market being cancelled because my air conditioner's been put in, so I kind of need to be here anyway, so that's okay. I'll be at Red Hill soon. But yeah, so just like I said, just make sure that you're ticking all the boxes and, you know, and everything is really clear, because if it's not clear, people can't find your website. They might misread it and won't get to your site. And that's really what you want. You want people to come back later on to buy products from you. So anyway, so like I said, that is one thing that we'll talk about. And like I said, you can do it yourself, or you may even want to get a graphic designer in if you can afford it, because they will create something amazing for you, and you might want to just get them to make a base label, and then you can put, you know, your, so if you would get them to make it, for instance, you would get it simple. Simple is better. Yeah, that's right. I do use a fancy font only for the name, but everything else is in a basic font. So if it's salted caramel, that'll be fancy, but everything else is plain. So that way they can easily read it as well. But if you get an interior designer, get them to make a base, but just don't put, for instance, if it's salted caramel, don't put that on it. Just leave that blank. because that way you can insert your own font on top of that later on. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so if they, that is a really, really good tip to get them to do it. It might cost you $500-$600 to actually pay for a designer to do it. But if you have the money and you seriously want it to be a really big business, maybe look into that. I've not paid somebody. I've done it myself. But like I said, I do have a bit of design skill as well. You can also go on Photoshop as well if you're really good on Photoshop. I'm really good on Photoshop, but I just didn't want to pay for Adobe again. So that's why I don't have mine. Like I said, make sure your warnings are on it, the volume and everything else that we've just talked about. So, and like I said, to get them printed, the cheapest place is definitely Vistaprint, labels online, and then Canva would be the more expensive. But I have to say Canva, they do a lot of them in more of a vinyl sticker, so the sticker is a better quality. Yeah, Etsy, you're right too. Etsy do have some, and there's some really good designers that do templates on Etsy as well. So do look for smaller companies as well, or even your printing house. You might have a printing house close to you as well that you can do that as well. Or Avery, yes, Avery do have labels. I tried Avery, and once again, I didn't like their software. That's why I didn't use it. I've ordered from them once, but the quality was definitely nowhere near as good as Vistaprint or Canva. I have to say Canva is the best quality I've used to date. And all of you know I use No Issue for my tissue paper, and I will actually be getting some No Issue stickers made to see if I like them better, because I do like to try a few as well. Yeah, Avery, I just thought the quality was pretty low, and the new stickers that I've been getting, which are called a sheet sticker from Vistaprint, they don't leak. The color doesn't come off, which I really love, especially for candles, because sometimes people will wipe over the candle. And not that I was going to talk about this today, but I will just add this tiny bit in. I know a lot of people, what they actually do is they'll do a thing that's called a half refill. So people, say they use the candle, they can come back to you, and then what actually can happen is you can refill the candle up. I do not offer that service, and a lot of insurance you need to look into whether that covers you, because once someone takes that candle jar, you don't know whether they've dropped it or anything. So that's really important as well. Oh, you buy your sheets on Amazon? Yeah, I buy my sheets from a company called Stanley Packaging. Yeah, I do a lot on my iPhone. Yeah, that's right. For me, I actually create most of my Canva on my iPhone, and it's really easy. When I first started, I hated it, but once you get used to it, look, everything's on an iPhone, even when your website is. So when you do your website too, have a look on your website, put it down to the mode of, your full screen for a computer, and then also put it on the mode for an iPhone to see how it looks, because sometimes it looks different as well. Yeah, this year, all we're doing is supporting small business. My husband and myself have decided, and my daughters are the same. We're all trying to buy from small business. And even my local shops here, they're like, oh, that's so lovely. They're really, really glad. Yeah, I did pay a little bit more as well, but yeah. So, yeah, other people are just talking about melters and so on. And that's the one thing I just want to say. Who do I recommend for a website? Honestly, Shopify, Sean, I can't go past Shopify. I had a cheaper website before and didn't like it at all. Oh, you do your own labels on Canva using the stick? Yeah, I've not done that. I've just ordered through them. But if you're going to do a website, I strongly suggest Shopify. I never had the amount of sales before. And even when I was first, when I was sort of growing, because at the start you don't get many sales. And look, I'm going to be honest, Shopify is really expensive. It is expensive. It's the most expensive I've paid for a site, but their SEO is so good that they push you in front of other people. So that's how I've got people. And then, you can easily use their site. You can email people. They have a marketing thing. It links into Facebook and Instagram. It's amazing. So, but I'm going to be honest, Shopify is not easy to set up. It takes a lot of time. And what happens with Shopify is you can link on lots of apps. So I have the two websites. My main one is nelsonsoapery.com, and then I have the other one, which is the Australian Soapery and Candle Conference, and I also pay for that. So I have the two. to separate those, because the second one, the conference, I don't earn any money out of that at all. That is just literally to help people and try and get a conference off the ground in Australia where anyone can join, like I said, whether they're in a different country or not. And we do have people that have bought tickets in the US and Canada and England as well. So you can join on to that one as well, but it is a paid ticket because that pays for the venue and all the other things that have to be involved in that. But I actually pay extra for tickets. So if you're going to sell tickets online on Shopify, you need another app. So, and then that app sells the tickets, which actually protects the people that have bought the tickets as well as yourself. So yeah, you can't just sell a ticket. You have to sell a physical product on Shopify or have extra apps onto it. So hopefully that makes sense when we're talking about websites a bit. And once again, you can, create your labels and, and create your, not labels, you can create your brand with the colors and the consistency and make sure they link back to your labels because you want everything to be consistent. So now that we've talked about that, I did have a question that somebody asked me, and this was all about contracts and how I actually get wholesale. Yeah, Shopify does have a lot built into it. They do. A lot of people won't need anything else, any other apps but Shopify. And that's what I did too. The only reason I needed the extra app is simply just like I said, because I did have the conference and I was selling tickets. So that was the only reason. But other than that, you probably won't need another app. Just to clarify that with Shopify. And that is my suggestion. If anyone's wanting advice on one, that's definitely what I can do. And you'll be able to man it yourself. Once you get used to it, you'll be able to do it yourself. It's really easy once you learn sort of the back end of it. But before that, it can be a little tricky. So now somebody has asked me about contracts and about selling wholesale. So the one thing I'll tell you is I don't have contracts when I sell wholesale because I wanted to do mine differently. What I did is my wholesale is literally on my Shopify account. So when people actually order from me from wholesale, they literally just go onto my website, they order it, that's it. But you can put all of your policies, your procedures, everything you want on your Shopify account. So that stops you having to have a lawyer and all that rubbish involved. And that's why I did that way. So I did it on purpose that way. So what you can do for my website, they click onto one link which says wholesale, and that has all the wholesale prices, or they click onto retail. But wholesale, what I've done on it, they can't order wholesale unless they're spending $250 or more, because when they get to the end of the checkout, it will just stop them. They won't be able to do it. So that sort of covers you. That way you're not getting someone just buying a $59 product that's really cheap and buying it. They have to actually spend a certain amount. So that will cover you as a business. As well, if you're thinking, oh, well, they can just buy a small amount. Well, they can't. And, to be really honest, who cares who's buying it for $250? I mean, most retail customers are not going to spend that. And now I do get a lot of clients on mine buying large amounts. I did have an order over $2,000 this week, just one order, and that was wholesale. So once people find you and once they actually really like you, then they'll order from you. But look, I say this all the time. At the start, I didn't have this. I had nobody knowing me. So anyone can do this. The first point of call really is your market, because then you give out flyers and send people back to your site, as well as social media and all the extra things that you can do. You don't have to be on YouTube. But anyway, like I said, I just thought I would quickly touch on that, but I may do another video later on about wholesale and how you get into it and so on. But a lot of it, honestly, I don't chase wholesale. If people come and ask me, then that's great. If they're on a website that I'm on or a group and they ask, then I do say, yes, I do wholesale. But lots of people, there have been some really lovely people that have actually suggested to other people that I do it. And that's helped me as well. And of course, you guys can see me on here. You can see what I do, and people like that. But like I say this all the time, you don't have to have a YouTube channel. On Instagram, use the Reels. So create a small video on Reels. Oh, that's fine, Christine. I know the internet's no good for everyone today, but I always say that anyone can watch this back later, and even if everyone drops off, I still just finish my talk, and then, like I said, it will be uploaded at a later date. So anyway, like I said, that's just something I thought I'd touch on. Now, I thought I would go on to just talking about the conference for a minute. Now, I have changed that when you go onto the conference website, which is the Australian Soapery and Candle Conference.com. That is the website. And the address that where the venue will be held is for the Esplanade in Brighton, Melbourne, Australia. So that is for anyone that is going to be coming to the physical venue, and then you'll get lunch, morning tea, afternoon tea, and snacks and things like that during the day, as well as some presents from suppliers that are giving some freebies out as well. And plus there's $5,000 of prizes that we'll be giving away. A lot of them you can win online, even if you're an online person. There's a couple, you know, like, so the suppliers will be giving things to people that are physically there, because obviously we can't be sending that out to all countries, it'd be too expensive. But like I said, you know, you can be online, you can still win prizes online as well. But anyway, like I said, that's the address of it, and the date will be the 21st of March 2022, and that is a Monday. We'll always have it on a weekday because it is cheaper for the venue. Otherwise we'd have to charge a lot more money, and we just didn't want to do that, because all the extra money does go to pay for the venue. There's room hire and photographers and everything involved. Do you have a deadline to become successful, Michelle? No, look, I always say, in Australia, they say most businesses don't take off for 3 to 4 years. That's a standard thing that you'll see on the Australian websites. And I do think that's true. I think, you know, for me, it's 3 years, and it really did take me close to 3 years to be successful, honestly. But, you know, look, I probably should have started things earlier. I didn't do... I never did like a video on Instagram or YouTube or anything before, and I probably should have done that, and I didn't. So that's what I would say about being successful. And honestly, there's no good doing one Instagram thing one day and then waiting another week to do it, or you know, doing a YouTube 1 month and coming back 3 months later, because you lose your subscribers. Could you imagine if I just said, I'm not going to bother to putting a YouTube video on for 5 months? Nobody would come back in 5 months. People want to see you all the time. They want to engage with you. They want to see what you're doing. They want to learn from you. So, and the one thing that I do say about being successful is don't be selfish. Don't feel that you've got to keep it all tight, because you're you. No one's you. So even if you give out your recipe, they still can't create exactly what you can create because they're not you. So that's what I always say. Oh, thank you, Sean. Thank you. That's so nice. Yeah, I do have a lot of people saying they really enjoy watching it. And as I always say, I thought, God, I'm just a mum from the suburbs. And I really thought, you know, no one's going to watch me. But, you know, we're all interactive around the world now. So I think it's important to make everyone included. You know, this is all about just being inclusive and everyone being able to join in as well. Oh, thank you. Yeah, consistency is absolute key, Mark. You know, if you're not consistent, nobody can be bothered. I mean, they just think, oh, well, you're flaky, you're going to just burn out. It's the same as wholesale. If you don't deliver when you say you're going to deliver, they just go, forget it. You know, they don't want to wait 6 weeks for a product. They want it now. So, you know, it'd be different on your website if you say 6 weeks, that's fine. But you need to say it and deliver when you say you're going to deliver. So, and so now we'll just get back to the conference just for a second. So it's the 21st of March 2022. It starts at 9 a.m. and finishes at 4:30. And we have changed it so that you will be able to record it. So you'll be able to record it and keep the recording. Even people that are physical, you'll also get a link to be able to have a recording, so you can tap in later on and save it as well. So, but you know, we're still working on that, and that will nothing will be given out until March. So it'll be mid-March before I give out the details of, you know, because you'll need a code to log in and so on. But don't worry, we'll give it out in plenty of time, probably the week before, so that everyone's on board and they'll have it. So the main thing we want to talk about at the conference and learn from is about growth, how you become successful, suppliers, and also like be, you know, what was the other thing? Networking, education. We'll also have some workshops as well to teach you, you know, and that'll be candles with temperatures and so on. And it won't be, we won't actually be putting the conference live to everybody. That won't be happening at all. I will do a YouTube on it, you know, when we're there, just snippets of it, but it won't actually be live. So it won't be Zoom live. You do need to buy a ticket. And as I said, those ticket costs, you know, do pay for the venue and everything. It's thousands of dollars for the venue. So I definitely don't make any money. So this is just me trying to help Australia get it off the ground. So it's basically a soaping candle guild, just like they have in the US, but we've got it in Australia because we really need to start building up Australia and getting the rest of the world to see that we can do amazing things and we can make amazing handmade products as well. Oh, yeah, sorry, I was just reading what somebody else is saying, yeah, about being consistent right now, and it is so important. So, like I said, just make sure you're consistent and don't beat yourself up if you think this is taking longer than you hoped, because it will take a long time. As I say all the time, I do not get orders every day or even every weekend. There's some weekends I don't get an order at all, even now. So don't think you're going to don't think, oh, it's Christmas, everyone's going to just plow in and buy heaps. No, they're not. You know, the biggest order I've ever had, I think which is the recent order I've had, which is $2,100. So that's the biggest order I've ever had in one go, which is a huge order. So for me, I'm so excited to be working with these people, and that's a wholesale one. But, you know, you've got to remember, when you sell $2,000, you know, you might only keep 800 of that. So it's not really like a retail order because, you know, it's costing you the money to make it and you're not making as much money. So you kind of got to weigh up whether it's working for you. And to do wholesale, you honestly have to buy a massive bulk. So at the moment, I'll have another video coming out soon, and that one will be how I'm doing this big order. Like at the moment, I have buckets of 65. I've done 65 kilos already just of blooming the products of the bicarb. So, and I've just ordered, what have I ordered? I think 300 kilograms of bicarb for some orders coming up, some wholesale orders. So that's what I mean. You've got to buy a massive bulk, and that costs money. So just keep your money and try not to spend it. Try and reinvest it. That would be my advice if you want to be successful. And like I said, not everyone will be, but I hope that helps. Yeah, I do have my hands full. Yeah, I definitely do. Yeah, so we'll see what's happening, won't we? But I hope, like I said, I hope everybody understands what I'm talking about with the conference, and we would love to see you there. We do have, I think, less than 25 tickets left physically, but if we sell out of those, you can go online and purchase your online ticket, which I think online is $69 a ticket. And like I said, that, you know, you get lots of things for that too. And just go onto the website and you'll be able to see all the information. And I have loaded a new page with the addresses and dates on it, so you'll be able to see on the front page as well. So hopefully that helps, because a couple people have said that, and I honestly didn't even think about it. But so yeah, so hopefully that helps. And like I said, if you want to come along, just go on, grab your ticket, and you'll notice as well with the tickets, it will start to say sold out once it's sold out. If you want to buy 5 or more tickets, you have like a business. I've had this week a number of businesses contact me. Do just send me a message as well, because we do have a group ticket available. I'll try and put a new one on there, another product to have a group ticket available, but we'll see, because like I said, I honestly haven't done that yet. So, but I can always send you an invoice or something for that. But anyway, like I said, just make sure you get on soon, because otherwise they will be gone, the physical ones. But we do have online ones as well. I think we have 50 online left, and about 23. I think it's 23 roughly for the physical ticket if you want to actually come along to the venue on the day. And like I said, that's in Melbourne, Australia. And there's lots of people flying in from Queensland, South Australia, Tassie. We have quite a few. So, and then you'll be able, so whoever has a ticket will get first dibs to buy a ticket for their following year, because this will be going every single year. So yeah, so do make sure you get in early, but hopefully the next years we'll be able to take more people, but because of COVID is limited to a small amount of people. Anyway, hopefully this has been helpful today, everybody. So I will sign off now, and you will see me on your next video. But next time I will be back into my beautiful studio again. Like I said, I'm lucky today because I have got a huge dehumidifier, which is maybe this big. It's about 1 meter long. So I do have, it's like a dehumidifier and heater and air conditioner all in one, which is very exciting. Oh, no problem, Leanne. Thank you, Suzanne and Carol. No worries. So we will see you guys all in the next video, and everyone else. And thank you, everyone. I know that you're all coming in, some early in the morning and some late in the evening, depending whether you're the US, Scotland, the UK, Trinidad, Australia. I know there's so many countries, and I'm sorry if I've missed your country because I know there's lots more than that. Yeah, no worries, Sean. We will see you next time. Bye for now, everyone.